So, Digby, we were talking earlier about what's happening with the health care bill, and one of the funniest moments from my perspective last week was Mitch McConnell gathering his caucus of 52 Republican senators, heading over to the White House, essentially to make it like they're being taken to the woodshed by Donald Trump, the famous closer. And he basically got there. You had senators walking out of those meetings going like, I don't think he understands any of this bill. and not only that, the woodshed was it turned out to be made out of rice paper because he basically said like we need to do this, but if we don't, it's okay. And so there was definitely a stink in the air towards the end of the week that the Republican senators are reaching a new level of awareness or frankness about the president's faculties. I'm trying to put that in a nice way. And you wrote a piece this week that this is not something that has escaped people who don't live in the United States.
Well, absolutely. I mean, here we had a week, right, where this gargantuan bill was close to being passed that was going to affect 1/6 of the U.S. economy, affect tens of millions of people, some of them whose lives would be threatened by the passage of it. We had weird stuff happening with Syria that, we still haven't truly, figured out exactly what happened there. And the president was tweeting about CNN and, obsessively talking about fake news as if he was living in another dimension. And at the moment that this was all happening, and what you say is correct, too, that senators seem to be they all did come out of that meeting going, geez, this guy's really does not know what's going on here. And he didn't. He says, Medicaid's going to be great. I save money, whatever. But at the same time, the Pew poll came out with this massive poll of people around the world. I think they polled something like 50,000 people in 37 different countries. And the drop in respect and regard for the United States, Donald Trump in particular, is absolutely astonishing. I mean, the median level of respect that people showed, according to their questions, around the world was 22%. When Barack Obama left office, it was 64%. That is how much it's plummeted just in the time that Donald Trump has been in office. And now, this is for his policies, it's for his attitude, and perhaps most, I think, kind of disturbing, it's for his character, the fact that they see him as arrogant, ignorant, and intolerant, which I think, hey, I'm with them on that. I think all of that is true. The rest of the world sees the United States as, I think they're beginning to see us as a threat. And I think that is one of the most dangerous moments that we are facing with this Trump administration. And it's not just because of the fact that, he is willing to drop bombs and that he's anything but a pacifist and never has been one, and in fact has, some very strong imperialist tendencies. This is the guy who said to the victors belong the spoils and, take the oil, why not, it's there, all that kind of stuff. Standard imperialist, sort of rhetoric. But it's also becoming clear that Donald Trump is so incompetent that the world's only superpower is in the hands of someone who could make a major error. And I think that is becoming clear. Now, there are two countries, and we should point this out, that actually hold him in higher regard than they held Barack Obama. That is Russia and Israel. Every other country in the world has seen its regard for the United States plummet. And, and here we are with a president who, now this is the story, the anecdote that sort of illustrated my piece. On the night that, the White House put out a statement, I think it was on Monday night, saying that Syria was about to launch, chemical weapons. And they were, shaking their fists saying this absolutely cannot happen. Well, reporters went to go, oh, my God, what's going on? They went and asked the Pentagon, they asked the State Department, they asked CENTCOM, knew nothing about it. They're all going, we don't know what they're talking about. I mean, that is just scary, scary stuff. And it turns out later, reporting showed that they didn't talk to the president about this because the president was so busy tweeting about CNN and James O'Keefe videos and fake news that he's not interested. They said he doesn't care about anything but that. So they consulted with Jared Kushner and with Steve Bannon on it, and then went ahead and put out this statement. And nobody really understands exactly what happened there. I mean, this is a moment that you can see how really, really awful things might happen, where someone could miscalculate somewhere in the world, someone a little bit crazy like Kim Jong-un, and do something that could set off a series of events that we might not recover from. And that is what the rest of the world is looking at. They see us as this huge, powerful military behemoth, which is what we are. I mean, we are the world's only superpower. And it's run by this imbecile and a group of advisors that are equally incompetent and, unfortunately, ideological. So we are, this is a very, very, very big problem. It's the one that keeps me up at night, I have to be honest. It's the one that I find, just as you say, how long will it take to regain the trust of the rest of the world? I don't even know if it's possible.
I mean, this is the thing, is that, it is, from our perspective, right, we don't see Donald Trump as America. But if I'm outside of America and I say, this is supposedly the most democratic country in the world, and they elected Donald Trump, I'm looking at a body politic that is at best highly unstable and one which we can't rely on going forward. So there's this fear, and there's also this notion that America is not going to be able to play the same role it has as in the past, which is it's not going to be a watershed. It is a moving target, which is dangerous because countries around the world want to have some form of stability that they can latch onto. But Digby, we're up against the break. We'll talk more about this in the next hour, as well as some other stories from this week. We'll be right back. Sam Seder, Ring of Fire Radio.